This week, we're discussing the EA buyout and a massive change to Xbox Game Pass. This is the Good Game Bad Game podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man whose wallet just got $360 later. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, you want to open your wallet and let like the moth or whatever fly out of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta make space for all this money. Is that really how much I'm gonna save? I guess so, right? $15 a month.
Well, I guess actually, if you're saving $15 a month, you're going to save $180. You're going to actually save $180. So your wallet's
That's
going to
not nothing.
your wallet's going to get $180 heavier.
Thanks to Xbox, over the next 2 years, I'm gonna be able to save up for like half of the PlayStation 6.
Damn, when you think about that,
When you think about it,
dear listener, doesn't that make you realize maybe you should cancel all of these subscriptions?
yeah.
That's money you
Yeah.
could be investing. Hey, you put that money in a high yield savings account,
Mhm. It'll be
4%.
$361 by then. It is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, not
Everyone
to
we
be
were gonna
that
save
guy.
money by not having cable.
Yeah. Uh,
And now all the cable companies are like, nope, you wanted this.
yeah. Yeah.
You pay $70 a month for our TV.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool what we're
Pretty
dealing
cool.
with.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's I really hope people think about that. I don't really know how you want to structure this episode because obviously we're going to talk about Game Pass at some point here,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen some extremes with this, especially among like I don't know, a lot of the people from Windows Central.
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing a fit, so
Yeah, it's
I don't know. How do you
yeah, definitely have a lot of thoughts on it. But before we even get into our thoughts about Game Pass, I gotta hear about what you've been playing this past week.
I think in the past 2 weeks I've played more hours of video games than I've probably done in 5 years.
Cumulatively?
No, on average. That being said, I put a lot of hours into Cyberpunk, so maybe we're not there yet, but
That's true, yeah.
um
Cyberpunk did really grab you.
yeah. Yeah, for a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be my most played game ever. Other than GTA. I
I
don't
was
think
gonna
I beat
say,
GTA.
yeah, no shot. No shot.
I don't even Sometimes I've been thinking about getting back into Cyberpunk too, but I literally have nothing else to do there other than try to get the 1,000 gamer score, but there are just some achievements I don't even want to try to get.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm very clearly distracted today. Um, I've been playing a bunch of Skate,
Mm-hmm.
as you've been playing too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're gonna have a very embarrassing episode next week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. And then just been working on Ghost of Tsushima,
Nice.
uh, which I think I told you over the weekend that I must have played for like 8 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those things where I started it, thought I'd maybe get one more like main mission done, and then it was 2 a.m.
The best.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, played that. I also played one other kind of dark horse game just as an experiment. Because I upgraded my Wi-Fi, and as you know, I bought the Portal back in August,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to uh, test it from my bedroom with my new Wi-Fi, which I wasn't really confident was going to go well because I'm still having some issues, but that's fine. Um, and I wanted to just kind of get a feel for what it was going to be like playing my Portal in bed with the new Sony speakers on both my nightstand and my wife's
Yep,
nightstand.
yep.
I'm
Yep.
not gonna lie, I did genuinely think about that, and I was like, that'd be kind of sick. Uh, so the test game that I played was Sackboy's Big Adventure.
Oh, nice.
Don't know if you played that yet,
I have not.
but that was like just a straight punch in the nostalgia.
Hmm.
That felt like a good like PS3, PSP era game,
Hmm.
and it was just fantastic. Which reminded me, I probably should be playing Tearaway
Oh, there
because
you go.
that's a 50 molecule too. So that will be hopefully that feeling lives on through that game.
Yeah. Um. So were you playing it while connected to your PlayStation, or were you playing that through like the cloud streaming that you can do
That
on the
was through
portal?
cloud,
Yeah. Nice.
which that that works really well. That works way better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Um, I've kind of been working on Ghost of Tsushima that way because that Ghost of Tsushima doesn't seem to have the weird like progress syncing that a lot of other PlayStation games have.
Hmm.
So I've been playing that a little bit on there. Um, I have been streaming now that I've got this new Wi-Fi setup. The streaming does work a little bit better. Works great if I'm in like the same room as my PlayStation, like if the
Hmm.
TV's occupied.
Yep.
Um, Works for like 30 minutes when I'm in my bedroom and then kind of gets funky and it disconnects and then it like basically resets and is good for another 30 minutes. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I mean both ways it's been great now that I've got this new Wi-Fi set up. It wasn't really worth a damn before then, but um
So you've been playing Ghost of Tsushima through like the cloud without like having your PlayStation on, and like your save syncs and everything like that has been like seamless.
yeah, I've been
Oh,
primarily playing on my
bet.
PS5,
Yeah.
but every now and then, like I said, if I'm laying in bed and I want to just get a little bit further, I just load up the cloud version and it works great. Like it genuinely feels like I'm playing on a portable console.
I'm an idiot and like could have just tested this myself, but my assumption was that like the save progression and all that stuff would just be like too fucky, that I was just like, I need to just find a game that I'm like fine with just solely playing, on my portal, like via the cloud streaming aspect of PlayStation Plus. And then like everything else has to be like a game that I um have on my PlayStation that I then like remote play. I didn't
Mhm.
realize, because yeah, kind of like you said, like normally the whole like save progression stuff is like pretty bad, but knowing that seems to be working for you, I should give that a try.
Yeah, I would just say as long as when you're done playing on the PS5, as long as you like actually close the game
Yeah,
completely, I haven't had any issues.
yeah. Well, as we know, I turn my PlayStation off completely.
Yeah, we did have that conversation,
Yeah,
and I don't.
and you're rest mode, bro.
Yep. Which is real gamble with PlayStation. God
Can
forbid I have a power outage for
Yeah,
5 seconds.
yeah, it can be.
Yep.
I
And I get PS5 wakes up and says, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Who the hell do you think you are?
Here we go. Got to check my database.
Um, yeah, we've talked about that. I don't
Yeah.
see a massive benefit to how long it takes to start up a game or anything like that. So I also change my game preference on a whim so much that it's probably not worth it. But anyway, that's a great roundup. Love that you're getting use out of the portal. love that you're getting more into Ghost of Tsushima. How far do you think you are, or how much do you think you have left, if you had to guess?
I would say I'm like slightly over halfway.
Okay.
Of course, I told myself I was just going to rip through the story missions and
Yeah.
then go back and clean up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not how it works usually.
Easier said than done,
Yep.
especially
Yeah.
in a
So,
world like that.
right. Yeah. I mean, I just find myself a lot of times just kind of riding around, just
Mhm.
doing stuff as it comes up. And
Yep. Well, nice.
no, it's good. It's good. I think the crafting and the upgrade systems become a little less overwhelming, which I understand. It's pretty rudimental, but I don't do well with that stuff.
No, that's fair. Sometimes it takes a little time, and then like stuff like that just suddenly clicks.
Yeah.
I'm definitely that way with a lot of game systems, especially early on. If you throw too much at me, it's just like I have no idea what I'm doing, and then
Mm.
I slowly figure it out on my own, even though I've had the tools the entire time. So, um, well, yeah, like you said, we've been playing a decent bit of Skate. It's been a lot of fun. Trying to think what else I've been playing. I think last week I said about how I was playing college football.
Yep.
I definitely played a lot more of that, but this is gonna sound fucking insane. Literally, like just yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, um, I was like playing it, and it just like hit me that I was just like, I think I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got what I wanted to get out of this. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I think I'm good to move on. And then I think I tried to hop into MLB and was met with basically the same thing. I was like, okay, I think it might be time for me to put the sports games down for the year.
Yeah. They've been replaced.
Actually go play everything else that's way more important in my backlog. I'll be distracted by MLB again in like a couple of days when they do a postseason update and all that stuff. Um but yeah, I don't know if I've really been playing anything else. Uh it's really all that crazy. So let's get into the news. What would you like to tackle first?
I don't know. I really want to talk about Game Pass because it's like what's right at the top of my mind, but I also feel like we'll probably talk more about that than EA.
Yeah. Yeah. I also
Let's
feel like,
let's do it. Let's do EA.
okay. All right. So both of the things that we're going to be talking about this week are, probably about a week, if not a little bit more old news at this point. But I think, Mike and I, we both kind of agreed that, uh, one, I think we just kind of had to with how our recordings were set up, and then two, just these were two things that we wanted to kind of give a little extra time to, just to see if like anything else really would come from it. So first off, EA, the makers of Madden and the game formerly known as FIFA and Battlefield and The Sims, was bought in what I think is the now largest private equity buyout in history, at $55 billion, which is a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Any rationale for 55 billion, Michael?
Uh, I would love to know like the conversation. So it was three. I'm going to say three investors. I was going to say three firms, but I don't think that's an accurate representation.
Yeah.
I should probably have them up, huh? One was, as we've talked about, the Saudi public investment fund.
Mm-hmm.
Um, claim to fame was the LIV Golf Tour. Um, the other one was it Apollo? It's Jared Kushner's equity firm.
Yep.
Is it Apollo Global? Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. I really don't remember. All right, don't search Jared Kushner on Google. Got it.
And while you confirm that,
Affinity, that's
oh,
his,
yep,
and then Silver Lake is the third.
yep, yeah. Which
What were you
also,
gonna say?
well, I was gonna say while you were trying to confirm Kushner's firm, I was going to say the third one was Silver Lake, but I was also going to mention that if the Saudi portion rang a bell earlier this year, I want to say we talked about Scopely,
Yeah.
um, who are they're the people behind, I think, like Monopoly Go. Um, they're a part of this, and Scopely bought Niantic, I think, is how it worked, or something like that, um, or Niantic got grouped in that. And Niantic are the people behind Pokemon Go, and so that was a big thing that we had talked about earlier on. Also, I actually just saw this and didn't realize, but the Saudi PIF was already the largest insider stakeholder, uh, and had 9.9% investment in EA already
Oh wow.
before
Okay, I didn't
before
know that.
this. So that's getting like rolled in as a part of this. But yeah, $55 billion for EA. A lot of it is apparently to cover like debt and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. It definitely raises an eyebrow, right? Like I think there was such a you know rapid like movement in like 2020 2021 of consolidation and you know buyouts and acquisitions and all this other stuff, and then it kind of started to slow down, and we started to like see the aftermath of those sorts of business dealings and stuff like that. And so I think, I don't know, I feel like I personally have uh I'm a lot more skeptical of things like this. I always want to try and believe that like this will be the thing to right the ship, and like maybe EA will will stop being so scummy with some of their business practices. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, if anybody sees EA for any amount of worth, it's going to be for those exact scummy business practices that they have when it comes to
Right.
like their in-game stuff. And so, like my immediate takeaway of this was like, yeah, somebody saw like the EAFC loot boxes or packs or whatever, and how much the ultimate team of just that game alone can bring in, and their eyes just lit up with dollar signs, and like you know how can we bleed this for all that it's worth. And so yeah, I became almost cynical to that part of it, because
And
yeah.
I don't think that's unfair. I think, I mean, I think that's my impression as well. Uh, I believe it's going to be one of those deals where we're not really going to see a whole lot of change right away.
Right.
Uh, and so this is a leveraged buyout. So, like you said, they basically bought the debt in in exchange for shares of the company. And they bought the shares of the company at a 25% premium to cover that debt. Uh, Historically, there hasn't been a buyout like this since 2000. I think it was 2008,
Hmm.
and it was like a Texas utility company, and that company stayed afloat for like 4 or 5 years. Actually, I think it was 7 years. I think that's the number that's sticking out in my head. And then went bankrupt again, and they just basically cannibalized it. Um, so that's certainly a concern, to me as I analyze this with my own thoughts and opinions. I can kind of see these investors, like you said, just doubling down on loot box hell, making Madden uh, even worse. Like I think out of all the EA games, Madden is probably not so bad in terms of loot boxes and things like that. Obviously, there's Ultimate Team. Um, I don't know. I don't know how big that is. I don't really play it.
Hmm.
um, I could really see them just bleeding this dry for the next 5 years, and then EA will be done.
Once they've
Um,
extracted all value out of it down to like the final drip,
yeah.
and then they'll officially just pull the plug. Like they'll put it on life support basically, and then pull the plug.
Mhm.
Um, all while almost certainly making back, everything. I also think about like, you know, I mentioned sometimes it's very easy for me to forget just how much EA touches. So The Sims, for example, kind of forgot that The Sims is EA, and um, I just saw something recently uh, about. I think it was in relation to Skate, and talking about that, and like uh somebody brought up the fact that like if you want all of the content for The Sims, even though The Sims 4 is now free to play technically, if you want like all of those like add-ons and like the expansion packs that kind of make the game, more playable, like you can get, plenty of time out of The Sims to begin with, but if you really want to like take it that extra step, like, you can do the whole college thing and like apartment city living and things like that like add that extra layer of your ability to play God in this world. And anyway, if you want to buy all those packs, it costs you $1,400.
Jesus.
And I mean, The Sims 4 has been out for going on 10 years, but like $140 a year is still more than you would pay for a new installment of Madden.
Right.
A game that comes out every year. So
Yeah.
it's just, you know,
Which I do feel like, and it's so funny because people have asked for this for 15 years. Like instead of having a new physical Madden every year, just like have one Madden that gets updated.
mhm.
I have a feeling that we're gonna get what we asked for, and we're not gonna like it.
Yeah, you think, and then they're gonna lock like the features and things like that behind a paywall.
I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
I could see like franchise and what is it, Road to Glory, or is that the college football? Like I could see those static gameplay modes just like going away,
Yeah,
and you'll have to play Ultimate Team if you want to play a Madden game at all.
yeah,
It's a pessimistic view, but I mean, I think just with how this deal is arranged and how much money has gone into it and how much money and that these investors are going to need to get back
mhm.
and in short order, um, I don't think these ideas are unreasonable.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like you said, in the short term, I don't think we're gonna see massive changes. But I think if you pull out your magnifying glass and say, "Where's the money at?" It's gonna be very obvious that those are gonna be the things that they hone in on and focus on and push, and then the things that don't implicitly drive value, we'll see get put to put out to pasture.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yep.
it's super pessimistic, but like not. I don't think all that unrealistic.
I think it's more of a state of the union. I mean, I think that's how it is. I think that gaming for the last 10 years has really been trying to push into this model, and you know, gamers non-derogatory have been pushing back.
Yeah.
Uh, and all that the industry needed was time, because people are just going to cave.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I just think that's where we're at. I think this deal is going to kind of really be the catalyst for pushing gaming into what basically uh, the public finance sector wants. Um, so I don't want to say I don't know to put a shadow of doubt in there, but I kind of have a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, basically,
Um,
we're fast tracking, towards the enshittification, as the kids now say, of
yeah.
just the entire gaming like landscape. And it'll take as much pushback as we can muster to try and stop that and course correct.
Um, there's a lot of kind of interesting societal things. I don't know how much we really want to get into this, but that have to be considered with this as well. And I think these are concerns that um, people kind of had right off the bat with the PIF investing in a game, and that the the overseers of that fund obviously have different societal opinions than most of Western culture.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'll be interested to see what comes of that. My initial opinion is I maybe this is too optimistic, but I don't see things like that changing.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to assume that EA is going to get the benefit of the doubt and be able to run their company as it was as like an American company and be able to make the games that they've been making for the past, you know, 30 years
Mm-hmm.
and not really have any issues until they start financially performing poorly. And then I think that maybe some of those um, societal differences will raise to the top.
Yeah.
That's the most eloquent way I can put that, which wasn't very eloquent at all.
Yeah. To make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, you're talking about like any sort of like, are you talking about like if a game has like LGBT like
Sure, like look at Dragon Age.
representation? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my thought process there is because I'm with you for the most part, but my thought process is again pull out the magnifying glass and every year when Pride Month rolls around, you get the corporations, maybe not so much this year, but you get the corporations changing their profile picture to put, and it's, what is it, rainbow capitalism or whatever. So it's like, yeah, yeah, we're on your side. And it's because Target can sell, $5 million worth of shit t-shirts that say gay my way or something like that. And like it sells and then the month's over and they go, okay, now get out of here, we don't care about you anymore until next year when we
Mhm.
know we can put out our hand and you'll hand us money. So my thought process is exactly what you're saying, where it's like, if Dragon Age has, to use the, in a negative connotation, woke uh ideas and stuff, but it sells amazingly and does well, and people don't lose their mind over it, then it keeps going and keeps marching on. But as soon as they have that opportunity to point to it as like the thing that caused the issue or whatever, yeah, I think like you said, those issues will rise to the top, and like we'll see we'll see those things kind of get put under lock and key. But like if one of your largest markets, right, um thinks a certain way, or acts a certain way and stuff like that, like even if it's counterintuitive to you and your society, you'll still milk them for all that you can, and like
Mhm.
that's kind of how I I see it, like, but I think we have a pretty long-standing record of again, just every single Pride Month to kind of prove that point. So,
Right, you get your annual check-in and
yep, you do nothing.
yeah,
You do nothing for the community. You do nothing for the movement except provide them with a hat or something like that.
do a
And
rainbow 5K for your employees.
exactly, yeah. And then you do not, and then you do nothing else. But it made you money, so that's why you'll do it.
Mhm.
But you'll do the bare minimum to milk it for all that it's worth, and then you'll turn your back on them and not care until the next time comes. So,
Yeah. Um, I th never mind. Um, I'm not gonna dig any deeper there. I think we've,
yeah, sorry, let me get off my soapbox. Apologies.
no, 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 I don't I think it's a conversation that needs to be had because it's a big concern. I think that was the first when this deal went through and people realized that it was the Saudi government, and on top of that, you know, a I don't have a better way of putting this, so a Trump affiliate,
Yeah.
um
Prominent prominent right wing
right.
uh member of, yeah.
Right, like, I think that community has something to genuinely be concerned about, and, again, I think that for now, this is a money thing. I don't think this is these groups buying EA to make sure that you can't have a gay relationship in The Sims anymore.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think that is the purpose of this, but, um, I don't wanna invalidate that concern because I do think that if EA financially doesn't improve, that it is going to be basically a hostile takeover, and we're going to have basically a new. I mean, maybe it'll get wrapped into Trump media. I don't know, but
Yeah.
a new uh, right wing game company.
Yeah. And then
Like I
the
said,
and
I
then
don't think
those
that's going to happen, but I think it's a genuine concern.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, when the time comes, it's going to, be able to be the scapegoat, like
Yeah,
it's the scapegoat as to why Dragon Age did bad, when it's like, well, no, like there were plenty of other issues with Dragon Age, like it having no fucking identity, like EA wanting to turn it into this like massive online game, and then turning it into a live service game, then realizing, no, that doesn't really work for Dragon Age. Why the fuck would we do that? And then they like try
yeah,
to reel it back, and it's like that.
and it didn't work for Anthem.
There's your problem. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. Like, of course, like you're gonna like fumble and stumble out of the gate, but
Yeah.
whatever. uh,
Um.
yeah. So we'll see. But I'm definitely with you with your original assessment of like my best guess is like no wide sweeping changes to start. We might see them lean a bit more into, again, like some of the more, I'll just say gross, like the loot boxes and all that stuff. We might see them
Yeah.
lean into those a bit more out the gate.
The monetization is going to change. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to kind of like analyze those changes, but if they do a good enough job, you may not even notice it, and that's, I think, kind of key. And if you don't really notice it, it it'll work for them, and not have a massive impact to the gamers. But if they try to get, overly aggressive with it, then, a hit dog will bark.
What'd you say?
A hit dog will bark.
It's a new one for me.
Hit dogs bark? No? Isn't that the saying?
I've never heard that in my life.
That's
But
good. I'm glad you
yeah,
don't hit your dogs.
yeah. I don't tend to stray towards sayings about animal violence other than beat a dead horse. I like that one.
Yeah, I've never
But at
been a
that
fan
point,
of
if it's a
horses.
dead horse, is it still an animal?
Yeah, it's a real
One,
conundrum.
yeah, it's Schrodinger has no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Speaking of animal violence, let's just drop a poison capsule into a box with a cat. Maybe it's alive, maybe it's dead. Who knows? One. Do you have anything else on this?
I do not. No, I think I'm good.
Okay, one last thing that I wanted to just quickly touch on
Hmm.
because it was something that I saw was I saw a lot of comments saying, "How is it that somebody can come in and buy EA overnight, but when Microsoft wanted to buy Activision or Bethesda, it was a year-long court case?" And I think I understand why that's in question.
Hmm.
I think it's just kind of an ignorance for how uh, M&A works.
Hmm.
Uh, the reason that this can happen is because it's equity. It's not a gaming company buying another gaming company. It's a fund buying a gaming company.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's no competition concerns. Now, if like I think the weird thing about this is if the PIF buys, let's say Namco via EA, that's an issue.
Right.
Um, and it's one of those things that's kind of on like a scale too. You know, if the PIF starts buying PlayStation and Microsoft and all these things, like yes, then it can be investigated, but it's not like a 1 or a 0 kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I saw a lot of comments about that and how this could have happened so quickly. Um, that's it's just a different type of acquisition.
Yeah. I think again, I brought up like the early 2020s, because that was a lot of within industry consolidation, right? Like
Right. And
that
that's the
was
key word is consolidation.
exactly, yep. And yeah, so this is, it's similar in some ways, but it's also, vastly different. And yeah, I mean, if anything, I think like it it should somewhat be eye opening that like this can just kind of happen, seemingly overnight, and like you can. We've talked about it in the past with like uh when Tencent has done like massive investments in companies.
Hmm.
Didn't they buy up like a pretty significant chunk of Ubisoft? Like not enough to be a majority yet, but like
I think it was like 10 to 15%.
yeah, and like it gets to a point where you're like, they could eventually get to a point where like they could do, you brought it up with a hostile takeover, effectively.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So it can obviously happen. Ubisoft would be ripe for this sort of thing. Take Two, honestly, would you know make me just the slightest bit nervous. People want to talk about like, oh, Sony should buy Take Two. Oh, Microsoft should buy Square Enix. It's like, don't you're thinking too small. Like
Yeah.
a whole fucking
No.
government can come in and buy it if they want. So,
Right.
um, yeah. So, I think we learned our lesson with a lot of that consolidation. The realization that like in a lot of ways these things can help these companies, but oftentimes consolidation is going to end up bad in the long run. And And yeah, so we should stop wanting those things, and probably shouldn't want outsiders and private funds buying it, because then you're just going to look at aggressive monetization of things as they try to claw back as much of their money as they can.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern and really something that's like Tencent and the PAF have got to be like just completely lapping it up when people are throwing a fit about Microsoft buying a company
Yeah.
because they're the bad guy, Microsoft, and knowing that a government can just kind of waltz in and completely take over. Like I don't think I think your analysis is really good. I think Tencent, in all likelihood, will come in and fully buy Ubisoft, especially after this.
Yeah. Feels much more like a when, not an if anymore.
Right.
But
Right.
we shall see. We shall see. Anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No, let's talk. Speaking of Microsoft,
Speaking of Microsoft and speaking of them being the bad guys,
yeah, this time for real.
this time for real. Microsoft, Xbox announced last week that they were going to be increasing the price of Game Pass Ultimate from $20 a month to $30 a month. So a 50% increase, which is not insignificant. Um, there was immediate backlash to this, obviously,
Hmm.
and we've seen Xbox do the dance with backlash and pull back on their decisions and stuff like that. So this was another one that we really wanted to try and give it time to see if they were gonna, bluff and pull back and you know, uh, change course, maybe make it a smaller increase, but still increase it, something along those lines. Um, you know, uh, I thought there was a really good chance of that. They haven't, at least not yet. Of course, we'll release this, and then at noon today, it'll be announced that uh, they are in fact rolling it back and not going to do it or something stupid.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here with Ultimate increasing. Everything else is staying the same. So standard is still $15, right? You're much closer
Correct.
to the Game Pass ecosystem.
Well, I
So
think they're calling that. I think they might be calling that like premium now.
okay,
I mean, I'm gonna pull that up.
and then the one that is basically gold but not is $10.
Yeah, so there's essential, which is $10 a month, premium, which is 14, which I'm gonna round up is 15, and
Hmm.
then ultimate, which is 30. Um, and then I think there's a PC one still. Yeah, there's PC, which is showing up as 1650. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's
Hmm.
just my AI answer. Yeah, that's what IGN said too. Um, yeah, so there's four tiers and talk of um more coming as well. Uh it's such a weird this is such a weird situation because it's almost like Xbox is making it more value to go down a tier because they've added cloud gaming to essential.
Hmm.
So the $10 a month. Um oh, interesting. I didn't realize this. So I think it's just phrased weird. So like okay, Game Pass Essential, it says access to a curated catalog of 50 games on console and PC.
Hmm.
So no matter what, you get console and PC now. So that's different. You get cloud gaming, and then you get like some in-game benefits. With premium, you have access to 200 games on console and PC. Uh, new Xbox published games are added to the library within a year of their launch, so it's no longer necessarily day one.
Interesting.
Yeah, cloud gaming, and apparently the opportunity to earn $50 annually with Microsoft Rewards.
Wow.
Then Ultimate says access to a large catalog of over 500 games on console, PC, and cloud. Day one access to new Xbox published games. Then you get Ubisoft Plus Classics, EA Play, and apparently a Fortnite membership. Cloud gaming and opportunity to earn $100 annually with Microsoft Rewards. Okay, interesting. Well, this kind of changes things for me, so I'm glad we're having this conversation. Let me rephrase. It doesn't change things for me, but it makes me consider things a little differently.
Yeah.
I think the biggest of which is the day one access.
Yeah.
Uh, that's interesting. I still don't think it's enough to keep me from going down to premium because I don't really play games on day one anyway,
Yeah.
and I don't have that privilege anymore.
And is it just Xbox titles? Like, the new Gears will be day one. But
This is Xbox published games.
yeah, so like, um, what did I just see that's coming to Game Pass day one? Ball X Pit. It's another, I think, Peggle shoot balls off the wall and break stuff type game. That's coming day one to Game Pass. So like that would, because I don't think that's Xbox published. So that would still come day one to premium.
Correct.
This is very confusing too. I
Well,
have to.
it can launch within a year on premium. You'll probably only get day one on Ultimate.
Gotcha. Even if it's a game that's not specifically made by Xbox.
Oh, well, I don't know. Who knows at this point? This is explicitly saying Xbox published games, so that's all
Yeah.
I can really speak to.
Yeah.
If this game is Xbox published, then on premium you'll get access within the first year. If you're on Ultimate, you'll get it day
Day
one.
one. Yeah. Like I'm thinking it's like a Stray situation on PlayStation where that was like that wasn't made by PlayStation or anything, but it was a day one game on the PlayStation Plus catalog. And I have to say I really hate the naming conventions of these tiers for Game Pass because PlayStation Plus is essential for the lowest, extra for the middle, and premium for the top.
Yeah.
And so I hate that they're using a lot of the same vocabulary. But they're in different spots, like essential is the same basically as like the base, but then premium is the middle tier for Game Pass, which is the top tier for PlayStation. So it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Game Pass has always been it's always been the type of thing where you have to like break down like all the things that you're getting and you realize like how great of a value it is. And we've said for a very long time that like the value you get is way more than the price tag that you pay. And then a price increase happened and that became a little less true. And then another price increase happened and it became a little less true. And then, now this one it's like I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
$360 a year, to try and break this all down. If it's $30 a month, that's $360 a year. If the average, new game is $70, you would need to like conceivably pay, and play 5 day one games, um, that are valued at $70, and that would cover, the cost of the subscription. And then you can like break
Mhm.
it down even further, obviously, right? Like, um, that's like the easiest way to try and like get your value. But then also like there are, what'd you say, over 500 games or something like that. So it's like, okay, well,
Right, but I'm assuming that's adding EA and Ubisoft.
sure. But like, if any of those games are valued at $20, but you play them because you have access to the subscription or whatever, right? Like you can start to kind of figure it out. But you know, to get your value, you need to play five, technically six, full price games within the year to to just baseline cover the value of what you've paid.
Mhm.
EA Play is like $2 a month or something like that. Maybe it might be a little bit more, but it's like $30 for a year of it. So
For now.
yeah, for now. Yep. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so that's $30 a year of value that you're getting there. So if you play, Madden for even a month, you're gonna get, your values out of that. Um Ubisoft, I don't know how much Ubisoft Classics is if you were to just pay for that instead of it being bundled into Game Pass. But I imagine that that is also a fairly low cost subscription service type thing. And, same deal. Like, so you do technically have access to those libraries. So even if you play one game out of those, you're likely getting the value out of that feature of Game Pass Ultimate pretty easily. So I mean, it's like the closest that it's like been, in my opinion, to like this is the value of it. like like you are in fact paying like for what Game Pass is worth. And I think that's a very hard sell for the average person because I don't know if the average person is putting in the time to like play 6 full games in a year.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah, I sorry, I'm gonna make this deeply personal because 'cause I'm also trying to figure out what I'm doing.
yeah.
And the only reason I've had Ultimate for, I don't know, for as long as Ultimate's been around. Uh, well, let me rephrase. I've had Ultimate for as long as cloud gaming has been available. It's the only reason I've paid for it. I don't play games on PC, so that's never been a value to me.
Yep.
Um, obviously I like having Game Pass on console. But I reflect now that I've had Game Pass for so long and how few first party like Xbox published games I've actually like played through and finished.
Hmm.
Um, I think for me, like I have to think about what am I, and I think everyone kind of has this consideration, like what am I going to genuinely play on Xbox over the next couple of years? Like, what's the roadmap? Um, for me, right now, it's just Forza, and I can pay whatever it's going to be, 70, $80 for that, and then that's it. I don't know. There's an Xbox backlog of games that I've like wanted to play, but again, at this point, they're so old that I could just go in and buy them
Yeah.
for $20. I don't really play online, so I don't really need that feature. I don't know. It's a concerning outlook for Xbox. Like to me, this feels like a last gasp onto something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it very well could be just like a testing the waters type thing, but it's it's an impossible thing to like to try and pull back after if you like take too long. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If you annoy enough people that they cancel their membership, I can't remember if there were a lot of people who were, talking about their immediate feelings on this. So I apologize if I don't have the right person's reaction. I think it was Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming. It might have been Paris Lilly,
Hmm.
who said it, but somebody said to the effect that like the beauty of subscription services is that they're a value that you don't think about paying.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how much it is. If as long as it's an amount that you don't need to think about, and that's obviously super subjective, like that is a case by case, person by person thing. But it's one of those things as well that like as a company, you can figure out where the like rubber band is at, right? That like $3 a month, every single person on the planet does it because it's $3, you know?
Hmm.
But $5, you see a drop off of half the world's population or something like that. And you can do the value proposition and figure all that stuff out. And that's how that should and probably does work, right? As soon as you have to, as a consumer, as soon as you have to think about a subscription payment, you've already lost. It's the value has all like the value's already gone basically, like, and you're now having, as the consumer and as the company, you're having to try and convince either yourself or this person that they are still getting the value for the new price that they're paying, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we're doing right now, trying to figure out like what is the value of $360, because that's not an insignificant amount of money.
No, you're essentially buying a new console every year.
Or every
In
2 years at
old
the very
world.
least.
In old world. Yeah, exactly. Um. Yeah. So two things. Like I've never thought about my Game Pass subscription increasing. I frequently forget that it's not $15 a month,
Hmm.
and I don't know when the last time it was. So to your point, I haven't thought about paying it because I felt like I was getting my value. Like $20 a month to play video games, great. I spend more going out to dinner in a month.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like going to like they definitely crossed the threshold that this is the first time I've thought about it. And the first time that and it's such a drastic change. Like if they would have gotten to the same exact situation in 2 years, but did it slowly, like, okay, we're gonna do an increase to, we're gonna do a $2 increase every 6 months. I know that
Hmm.
math doesn't quite work out, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And we're gonna change features a little bit, you know, you like do a slow increase, but also give me the new features as you go. Like, hey, now you have access to Ubisoft Classics. Uh, if you're on Ultimate, you get early access, like by
Hmm.
default, like 2 day
Hmm.
early access, and then eventually shift it to day one and move all the other ones, etc. Like, I would just saying, wow, Game Pass is getting better, and I'm like not really even seeing a price increase. And then in 2 years, we get to this model, but it was a slow burn.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing, right? Like what's the new feature?
So that leads me to my next point is I want to talk about the email that I got and I saw that a lot of other people got too and just thought it was a complete slap in the face.
Uh-oh.
So it says, thank you for being a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
We hate you.
Uh, I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm going to read like the first paragraph. We are planning to update our prices so that we may continue to bring you more value and great games for the very best gaming experience. Starting November 4th, 2025, the 1 month subscription price will be $29.99 for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, plus I can't say that word, applicable taxes, every reoccurrence period, etc. And then they're giving you 14 days to get a prorated refund. Um, and then they go on to this bullet list of all of the benefits that you're going to have. And to me, right now, it sounds like the same benefits that I've had for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Plus Ubisoft Classics. Um, but I mean, this email this doesn't give me a different value proposition. It
Yeah.
is just restating what I already have, but now I'm paying almost double.
Yeah.
It felt like a slap in the face, and a lot of people felt that way. And I there have been some pretty extreme opinions about this. I think I saw, you mentioned Paris. I think I saw him kind of be in this boat of like, don't downgrade, cancel.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't think you necessarily have to do. Like, I don't think you need to rob yourself of that experience for the sake of proving a point. I think if you're on Ultimate now, you can go to one of the lower tiers and you still get, a good value there. Yeah, it's not day one. But like you don't have to go scorched earth. I think if enough people go from Ultimate to Premium, that sends enough of a message.
Hmm.
So I think this scorched earth mindset's a little dramatic, but
Yeah. I mean, it's it's the uh, it's the beauty of our society, and that if enough people could, uh, unify in this movement and do the thing, that yeah, it would cause a disruption and like all this stuff. The problem is there's so many of us, and we're all just so complacent in everything that like you're never going to make that happen. So like if it's kind of what you were saying. You got to just do whatever's best for you. If
Mhm.
you look at premium and you're like, no, I'm no longer getting the things that I truly want, but $30 is too much for me for ultimate, then yes, I'm with Paris. Just cancel. Don't try and hold on and like, I have to keep my subscription and like all this stuff. Like if you're just like no longer getting what you need out of it, absolutely. But if you still see the value in premium and like you play online and so you need to have online access because that's the fucking awesome part about console gaming, then yeah, downgrade and try and prove a point there. If enough people downgrade and enough people cancel, a message will absolutely be sent. It doesn't
Mhm.
require every single person canceling to get an effective message across to Xbox that this is not the move.
I think all Xbox needs to do to fix this, in my opinion, is just change the day one policy. Make it so if you pay for premium, you get day one.
Mhm.
Exclude EA,
Mhm.
exclude Ubisoft,
Mhm.
exclude some of the in-game like Call of Duty benefits,
Mhm.
exclude the Microsoft rewards credits. Like make those for Ultimate. And if you want that, great, go pay for that.
I mean, you
But
can you can also shrink the library too if you wanted. Like you can get
I
all the
think as
day
long as you
one.
include every first party Xbox game, yes, you can do that.
Yeah, but like you could say like, oh, like Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And then like, maybe in 6 months it'll also come to the premium or something like that. Like I think you could do that. Like I think you could like have like, you know, a special like yeah, just like tier to the ultimate, I guess. And like and because otherwise I gotta be honest, if the day one games are coming to premium, and the only thing that ultimate gets is EA and Ubisoft, there is just not value there. Like I'm I'd be shocked if people are like lining up to pay that extra
Yeah.
$15 for those two services when you know the true value is yeah playing those day one games. So
Yeah. And I'm sure that was the thought process behind it.
hmm.
And then you kind of force out if you want to play a game day one, you got to buy it outright. Here's the thing that I think should still apply is if you have any tier of Game Pass, if you decide to buy a game, there should still be a discount. Like I don't know what it is, 5 or 10%. I think it's
Yeah,
10%. That should apply no matter what tier you're on, especially if you're not on Ultimate and getting games day one.
yeah, I'd be shocked if that went away. But
Yeah. But I don't know. They haven't mentioned that. So
I I
it's
think. God.
go on. No.
I was just gonna say, I think what you were saying about how like if they would have done like a staggered approach, and this goes from like the inception of Game Pass, if they would have done a much better job of updating the price as features updated on the service, maybe you wouldn't be getting such a visceral reaction to this increase specifically. But I
Yeah.
think the problem was they made the value of it so good. Like it was too good. It was hard to fathom, everything you were getting for $15 a month at the time.
Right. Even at $20 a month.
And even at $20 a month. And like it's fine, but like imagine if every time they were like coming to Game Pass Ultimate is like we're bundling EA Play and Ubisoft. So now for a new price of $17 a month, you get everything you already had, plus you get access to these two like pretty large library of games. I think
Hmm.
people will balk at that. People won't care. People will go, okay, cool. Maybe I'll play the new Assassin's Creed now. Oh, I get the Madden, a year late or whatever. Like that's good enough for me. I can get enjoyment out of that. Cool. Um, but no, instead it's like just this like huge jump from 15 to 20 to 30. Like like with not a lot of improvement. Like for me, if you're going to increase the price of something, okay, well, if you're increasing the price of it, that means that the value of it has somehow changed. So what am I getting that I wasn't getting before? And if the answer
Right.
is nothing's changing, and this is what's everybody saying right now with price increases, the economic uncertainty of certain markets, right? Like
Hmm.
if I hear one more fucking company say that, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
cry.
between that and I just saw something came up that I think it was the CEO of United Airlines just was quoted saying that consumers are in a good place financially. And it's like, what fucking consumers? What consumers? 17,000 jobs were created in September,
Yeah, man, we're doing good.
allegedly.
We're doing good.
I mean, it's a nightmare. And these companies, like, yes, spending is still up, but that's just like, what else do we have? I
Oh
don't know. It's just
man.
it's a weird situation, and then for these companies to just like it's almost like they're and it's the world we live in. Just enough people say it, it becomes true.
Yep.
And obviously, these companies don't give a shit. They're doing fine. So they're saying, yeah, customers are doing great. So now everyone is supposed to believe that customers are doing great, and everyone can raise prices.
Yeah.
It's so strange, and this is another case of that.
Yep. So it's an extremely tough pill to swallow when a price of something goes up and you're not getting any new additional benefit from it other
Yeah.
than the opportunity to pay more for it. And that's good.
Yeah.
So
I think it just got too lofty, and frankly, I kind of wish they would have. I wish Xbox Game Pass would have just been a subscription where you get Xbox published games and ID at Xbox, and you get this on Xbox and PC and cloud. Like, that's all I need.
mhm.
I frankly I don't need third party games being on the platform. If you're losing money because of that, like then you shouldn't have done it because it doesn't bring me value. If I want to play a third party game, I'm more than happy to just buy it outright.
Right.
But I bought an Xbox. Well, one because it was all I could get, and two because of Game Pass, and knowing that I could play first party games for a monthly fee and be able to like not have the risk. And this is a value we used to always talk about, like not have the risk of playing a game that I hate.
Yep.
It's a It's an interesting move. I will be eager to see how this plays out. There was another piece of news this week that I forgot to mention before we started recording that's Xbox related, and I think kind of like prominent to this is I think Windows Central has been insufferable with this. I just want to say that outright. Like they've just been so apocalyptic with it. It's just made me lose a lot of respect for a lot of the people over there. To the point where they just started this rumor that like or more of an accusation that Microsoft is not going to have any first like Xbox made consoles moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that comes up every cycle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing new. And they reached out and Xbox was basically like, "Well, see this partnership we just signed with AMD for hardware for X amount of money for X amount of years." Um so Xbox is saying they're committed to making their own consoles, and the reason that they didn't make their own handheld is because AMD wanted like 10 million units,
Mm-hmm.
and Xbox didn't want to do that, so they had um, Asus do it. I I don't know. I know I just talked shit on Windows Central, but I kind of think like I think the way they approached it was poor. But I genuinely feel with this Game Pass move that Xbox is looking to move into doing partnered hardware. Like they'll make the operating system, Asus will make the consoles, or Dell will make the consoles, or
Mm-hmm.
Lenovo will make the consoles. Um, and then they'll have Game Pass, so you can, that's their revenue stream. And I think they'll keep streaming. I think the streaming is doing well. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the better options. Um, but I mean, where I feel like you kind of undervalue yourself by making the subscription so expensive. Like we said, I mean, every 2 years you're basically buying a console. So why are
Mm-hmm.
you going to buy a console and then buy another console on top of it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the kind of the way I see them positioning.
Yeah. And I feel like we've started to kind of feel that way in terms of their positioning with just some of the other like more recent stuff. And so like this just kind of keeps leaning into that.
Yeah. Yep.
Um
And
yeah,
if it's what people are starting to expect, why wouldn't they?
right.
If the market's saying, yeah, well, this is what we think is going to happen anyway, so just get it over with. It's kind of like the live service thing with EA and just how, the shitification of games, as you so eloquently put it.
Mhm.
We're going to get to the shitification of gaming platforms too.
Yep.
And people are just going to be okay with it.
Right, because it'll be what other option do you have?
Right.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty
Yep.
cool. Not to
RuneScape.
not to make it uh not to make Xbox's increase of Game Pass about me, but um my fear is that PlayStation of all companies is going to see this and go, "Huh, I guess we can probably increase our prices too." Which the value of PlayStation Plus Premium and Game Pass Ultimate are not the same, to be clear. Um,
Mhm.
PlayStation Plus Premium, you get a very large library of games, and I've never been disappointed with the library of games that I get from PlayStation Plus and this you know Game Pass competitor that they basically have with the library of games that you have access to. The premium, though, isn't day one PlayStation games. The premium is like PlayStation classics. So like any PS1 or PS2 or PS3 games now that get like brought freshly to the PlayStation Store, or honestly, they seem to have been working through like a backlog of games that have already been available. They'll put those on the service, so it's like yeah, $10 game, but like it's on the service. If you have it, you have access to it. You can play it. There you go.
Yeah.
Um,
And
go ahead.
and like, frankly, that's my favorite. That's my favorite form of bending over. Like, I've given up hope that I'm gonna be able to play games that I already own on new consoles. So if I'm paying a subscription that's I don't know what the highest tier of PlayStation Plus is, but they add like old PlayStation games
Hmm.
and eventually the new releases
Hmm.
as they've been out for a little bit.
Hmm.
Like that's all I want.
Yeah, I
That's all
mean
I want.
it's it's great. I feel like I get great value out of it. It's $160 for the year if you buy a 12-month subscription, which I feel like Game Pass doesn't let you do, right? Like Game Pass doesn't let
No,
you. It's
they got rid
it's
of that a long time ago.
it's $30 a month. It used to be $20 a month. PlayStation Premium is $18 a month if you buy 1 month at a time. But if you buy a 12-month subscription, it's 160, which is only 15 extra dollars. So basically, what, a buck 25 a month more if you extrapolate it out. Um, then the extra tier, which just doesn't have like the PS1, PS2 remaster section and stuff like that.
And I
Um,
think you can always downgrade too, and you'll get like a prorated refund, right?
yeah, you can downgrade, you can upgrade for, yeah, it'll figure that all out for you based on the subscription that you did.
Yeah.
I think the value is great for like what you get out of extra and premium over on PlayStation. I do fear though that like, well, now like, I mean, again, PlayStation Plus Premium was already less than what Ultimate was at $18 a month, and then like the fact that you can buy it at a slight discount, but a discount for an entire year. I'm trying to think what it comes out to. Actually, I'm going to figure that out real quick. So premium is $18 a month, but it's 160 if you buy a whole year. So it comes out to it comes out to $13 a month basically.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No.
Um and
No.
yeah, so it was already less. My fear is that like they'll stay less. They aren't going to jump up to $30, but like will they take the step to just increase it to, $20 or something like that. Um
Yeah.
we'll
All
see.
PlayStation needs to do is not add the same fluff that Xbox did. Like, I don't need 500 fucking games available to me. I really don't. I don't think anybody does. So, like, just keep it simple and keep it valuable. I really hope that Sony doesn't go in the direction that you're proposing. They see that Microsoft is doing this, so it's going to become the industry standard. I think Sony has a really good opportunity to say, take a step back and really kind of normalize how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think we're going to
Uh
see a value shift. I mean, I
yeah.
just decided recently to pay for the higher tier of PlayStation, and I almost didn't because I'm paying for the highest tier of Xbox, and I really don't think I need both. And now, I mean, I'm certainly not paying $30 a month for Xbox.
Yeah.
That's not worth it to me personally. I would be better off just buying the games that I want to play. Um, and I think there are just more PlayStation games right now that I'd rather play. So, I mean, my money is certainly going to be shifting back to PlayStation. Um, and don't get me started on Nintendo. I mean, that Virtual Boy comes out, $100 to Nintendo.
I mean, Nintendo's the prime example of what I was saying, where it's like a subscription amount should be an amount that you like don't even think twice about. It's like $80 a year or something like that for the plus. Like it's
Yeah,
$30 a year for just like the base, which still gives you access to, I think, the NES and SNES library. Um and maybe Game Boy, but that I think might be under plus.
yeah,
Um and then it's $80 for the plus, which also then gives you free expansion packs like baked into it technically. That is an absurd value. And Nintendo, if you're listening, actually the value is terrible and you will never get people to sign up for it. So, maybe lower it or something, but because it's just too much.
$1 more. You give me to $81 and I'm canceling. Nope. Nuh-uh.
But I think it understands like what it is. I think
Mhm.
PlayStation, as of right now, I'm a little nervous, but as of right now, I think it understands what it is. Again, extra, which doesn't come with the classics catalog, and it also misses out on a few other like the game trials, and it's like stuff that I don't really use having premium. I barely touch the classics, but it's not that much more. For me, it's fine. But if you do extra and you pay for the whole year up front, um, which you absolutely should just do. Like
Mm.
it's $11.25 on a per month basis. It knows what it is in terms of value and everything like that. And I think like as long as it doesn't deviate from that, um, I think we're in business. I think we're good.
Mhm. Um, did you see the thing with GameStop?
They're still allowing you
They're
to
gonna con
buy Ultimate
Yeah,
for $20 or whatever.
yeah.
I did see that.
Um, that I will be honest, I did think about just going and buying a bunch of those codes.
Yeah.
At least like just 6 months worth,
Did
just to feel it out.
Did did GameStop say for how long they're going to keep selling at $20?
I think it was indefinite,
Hmm.
which, you know, I don't know if
Do
that's really sustainable for them,
do
but
I trust GameStop to do that, or do I think GameStop is being they're being gremlins and are saying, "Hey, we're going to keep selling it for 20 because as of right now it is still only 20." People are going to go, "Oh my god, I need a hoard." And so I'm going to buy up,
yeah, that's fair.
3 years worth of codes. And then when the time comes, GameStop's just going to increase the price when, they'll fall in line with when the price change happens. And it's like, well, cool. Well, people aren't going to buy it for $30 or we're going to see that drop off. So cool. We just got a bunch of suckers to pay for 3 years worth of codes that we wouldn't have been able to move once the price increase happened. I don't know. That's me just
I think that's
assuming
fair.
GameStop is shitty and knowing that GameStop is shitty. And we really got like we were so close. We were so close to being free of this Funko Pop fuck ass company, and we messed up. We messed it up, and it's fine. But like we can do it. I promise. We can free ourselves from the shackles of GameStop. So like, come on, everybody, let's do it.
The
Oh, but
Moses of his people.
if I'm a GameStop Premium Pro member, I get a free Pokemon pack. Stop. Don't. Stop. Don't do it.
Huh.
Sorry, let me just get off my soapbox again.
You're good. Like I said, you're the Moses of your people.
Oh man. Any final
Gaming.
thought? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said gaming. That's my final thought. I'm
Yeah.
gonna play my Vita this weekend and reminisce on old times.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Um. Okay. Well then, I think that'll do it for this week. Little housekeeping. Mike brought it up at the beginning, and so I'll bring it up here at the end. Mike and I needed to do a pre-record. So we were like, oh, we had time to play Skate. And I was like, why don't we just record an hour of us playing Skate? And in the episode, this is going to be coming out next week. So look forward to it. Hopefully you enjoyed the last one. In this episode, we talk about, things that we think EA can, add to the game, uh, you know, to keep us coming back. Things that could maybe make us spend a little cash on a free to play game. how we think they should handle any sort of season passes that they might do, because we knew there were rumblings of that, but we had no idea when they would be coming out. And then about 4 hours after we finished recording, the season 1 update happened. So you can listen to a time machine, a time capsule moment of Mike and I talking about these ideas right before some of them come to some semblance of fruition. So, hopefully that is enjoyable, and you can find some comedy in light of what we're saying they should do. We also touch on the whole buyout, because we knew it was relevant to the game we were playing, and we knew it would be coming out after we talked about it on this episode. So a weird time jumpy thing, but yeah, you can look forward to that next week. And apologies for not being timely there. As always, you can go over to our YouTube channel and leave us a comment there, letting us know your thoughts on the EA buyout and also on the Game Pass Ultimate increase. If you're a Game Pass subscriber, how does this impact your subscription moving forward? Do you still see the value? I'd love to, if you have a breakdown, I'd love to see it and see how you justify the value of any subscription service, honestly, as it pertains to gaming. So even if you have thoughts on Nintendo or PlayStation, please, I'd really like to see how people think about it. And if you could leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to the podcast, that would be greatly appreciated. And as always, if you could share the podcast with a friend, it would help us out. Other than that, if you listen to us this long, thank you. And we will see you in Skate next week.